when you have the vision for something grand, yet there's nothing there, there's nothing tangible. The only thing you can lean on is, they oftentimes say it's lonely at the top, but it's also lonely at the very bottom too. You only get people kind of in the middle of these spaces, and I support women specifically in their rise from the ashes, because I know what it's like to start with nothing, to have fallen from grace and attempt to crawl out. But you cannot be successful in business unless you have help. I had to learn that the hard way, but I'm so glad I learned it, because now it's ingrained in my brain. And I was like, yeah. I cried on their doorstep for a good hour. You cannot go into business with more anxiety than confidence. So many. When I first started, that is such a great loaded question, and I'm going to break it down in two parts.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Infinite Icons. We have a phenomenal guest today. She is an author. She is a singer, actress. She also enjoys DJing. She is a mom and a successful entrepreneur. Please join me in welcoming Tahera Rene Christy. Hello, Tahera. Welcome to Infinite Icons.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. All right. So, fellow Californian, have you always been in Southern California?
You know, I've been in Orange County for on and off for about 23 years now. I actually am originally from Oakland, California, so Bay Area. I went to Cal State Monterey Bay for a couple of years and just saw my sights at something bigger. So I came down to the Los Angeles area and went and graduated from Cal State Long Beach with my degree in rhetoric, because I love to argue and I wanted to be a lawyer at some point in my life. And I just kind of stayed. And my father lived in Orange County with his wife at the time. I went to church in Orange County for 10 years, living in Long Beach. I was like, I live right here. Why don't I just move to Orange County? And so I did. I bought my first house when I was 24 and bought my second when I was 32. So it's just I've kind of migrated here from a mighty long way, but always
cool. all Californian. All right. That's nice. So have you always been a business person, or also climbed on the corporate ladder sometime?
You know, I have always had a duality to me. I always tell people it's because I'm a Gemini. It's not just because I'm a Gemini, but the duality in me has always existed because I am a left-right brain person. I enjoy the creative aspects of the right brain part of me, but I'm very analytical and statistics driven. And that's the left side of my brain. And so I've always had a corporate job because I was a single mom. I started having kids when I was 21, so I was very, very young. But I had just graduated from college when I had my first son, and I was determined to graduate in 4 years, get a corporate job, buy a house. Like I said, I bought my house when I was 24, and I've always been determined and driven. So what corporate America could offer me was consistency and benefits. And then from my creative side, I've always had a side hustle, whether it was DJing or singing or selling things out of my home, doing hair, cooking for people, doing whatever I could in order to make additional money, but also appease that creative side of me. And so I think it's always been it's always more fun to get paid for my creative side. But I had kids and I had to pay the bills and do what I needed to do. And I was really good at selling anything. So I was in corporate sales for over 20 years.
That's awesome. So you are multi-talented and wear many hats.
Yes,
we can go on discussing a lot of aspects today.
Yes.
So to begin with, entrepreneurship always has a very mixed response. According to you, do you think entrepreneurship is for anybody and everybody?
It is. I feel that it is an exclusive club that while anyone can fill out an application, not everybody's application is going to get approved. I feel like entrepreneurship is like something you have to really want to be a part of in order for you to follow with it and enter into the gates of chaos that it can be, but also receive the benefits of the hard work of entrepreneurship. For me, my journey was very accidental. So I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. I didn't even think that I was going down that road. I just kind of got paid for things that were natural to me. I remember one girlfriend of mine saying, "You just do stuff, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah." And to me, doing stuff, okay, great. What else can I do?
Yeah.
And I was always kind of in that space, whereas many entrepreneurs, they do their research, they get data, they study industry, they understand white papers, and they talk to people, and they get partnerships, and they line themselves up in order to go into business, and they have funding and money to go into business. I had none of that. I started my business with an unemployment check and just kind of went from there. And so there are many different paths to entrepreneurship, but I think the average person who starts it and continues and loves it and thrives in it has to sign up for a life that is full of ambiguity, potential anxiety, and a lot of fear, a lot of worry, a lot of the into the unknown, as they would say in Frozen, into the unknown.
Yeah.
Skydiving, people who like jumping out of, bungee jumping and going on trips by themselves. Like I vacation by myself all the time. People are like, "You're not scared?" I'm like, "Scared of what?" So I have a mindset that would suggest I should really be an entrepreneur. And I'm finally glad that I took the leap to do it. But this is not a journey for the weak or the faint of heart. It's like going into nursing and you're afraid of blood. It's not the industry for you. You have to have the mental fortitude to really push through the barriers that do exist and be a great problem solver, I believe.
And also a self-starter, I believe.
Absolutely. If you can't get yourself up in the morning and get yourself to the gym and get yourself in prayer and meditation and get yourself, in your heart and your mind right, and go to things on time and have your integrity and your character lead you, it's not for you. Like my daughter says to me all the time, "I need outside motivation." Well, honey, entrepreneurship is not for you, because your boss will tell you what time to be there, when to work, how to work, what to do. And then they'll say when to stop, and they'll take, you go home, they write you a check, and then you pay your bills with that and figure life out. But an entrepreneur, it's just, I eat what I kill. And if I don't kill, I don't eat. And so it is the constant pursuit of next level and more. And I know that having a sales background, literally, I've always worked on commission, and I've always been in a mental space where I never want to make what my coworkers make, because I know I'm better than, not like that, but I know I'm better than them at what I do. And so I've always been at the top 5% of my sales teams because I have a different outlook. First of all, I had kids, I had people to feed. These were young people who liked money. I was a visionary who wanted to work for what I earned. And I never wanted to trade my time for money. And it was a means to an end. But now that I'm in this space of entrepreneurship, how do you turn back? It's like sending the cow to the mansion and sending him back to the farm. I like the mansion. I want to stay here.
Yeah. So you have a variety of interests and achievements too. So in your experience, how important is discipline? And how does it actually work out?
Oh man, discipline truly is, I'd say 75% of entrepreneurship, because it's about consistency, right? Making sure that you have daily routines that you do that work towards the success of your business, and doing those things every single day. I have a friend of mine who has a podcast, and he posts on social media a lot. He may get no likes. He may get one like. He may get one comment a day. But when I tell you, this man is consistent, and he's been doing it for months. And I admire him so much because of his consistency, because it just takes one person to just love it, and that be the right person at the right time to make it pop. So I see him as an entrepreneur more so than someone with a really great creative idea that they think this idea is great, and they want it to be something big, and they have the desire, but maybe not the discipline, maybe not the push behind them, maybe not the resources. But it takes that consistency in order to see something, follow something through. When you have the vision for something grand, yet there's nothing there, there's nothing tangible. The only thing you can lean on is faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. And so entrepreneurship oftentimes is a leap of faith. Now, of course, you can get statistics behind you. You can get data behind you to help support a claim that you make. You want to forecast and do all of these technical things, but it's the grind. It's the everyday to get to that point. I mean, Amazon, wasn't built overnight, but it started in a garage, and my business started in a garage too, just with an idea that I grinded with every single day and focused on and talked about, to the point where my friends, when I started posting about my business on social media, they were like, "What are you doing? Is that like Avon? What company is this?" I'm like, "It's mine." But it's so professional, so otherworldly from what they expected out of me, shame on them, that they had no concept that I could produce such results. But the greatest gift you can give a creative person or an entrepreneur is time, because most of us don't have enough time to do most things we want or have passion to do. And so I'm a pandemic baby in terms of my business. And because of the pandemic, I had time to create a discipline, to go through consistent work and create an ethic for myself for this particular business model that I've been able to build. And then Amour Propre was born, and I've been able to turn it into a flourishing business because of it.
All right, brilliant. So, talking about time and other things, how important is resources and support system to create a beautiful and successful business?
That is such a great loaded question, and I'm going to break it down in two parts, because I talk about this a lot because my journey was very lonely. They oftentimes say it's lonely at the top, but it's also lonely at the very bottom too. You only get people kind of in the middle where they're really supportive of you and helping you get to where you're trying to be. And so a lot of us entrepreneurs, especially Black entrepreneurs, I know statistically speaking, 2.6% of entrepreneurs are Black or of African descent. And we are the majority of those, meaning like 90+% are solopreneurs, meaning we work our businesses, but we work them alone. And we have 0 employees, meaning we're not paying ourselves, or we only have 1 employee. So we are an island unto ourselves, not really knowing what anybody else is doing unless we really seek out those resources and support services and help. And oftentimes we believe that that costs money, or it's expensive, or it's unavailable to us, or we just don't know what's out there. And so I've been a huge advocate, and I actually started a consulting company, Tahera Consultancy, out of the need to support especially women, Black women entrepreneurs, but all entrepreneurs, in guiding us in the resources that are available to us to help us start, fund, and continue our businesses, to grow them and help them to flourish, because we can't do it alone. You can take your business so far. I took my business to a 6-figure business by myself. That's pretty awesome, but that is not normal. I am the anomaly to the rule. That is not normal. Most people, you need somebody, you need people, you need a partner, you need an assistant, even whether virtual or in person. You need someone to help you with your products or your services so that you have eyes and ears. Now, granted, I did it alone, but I also have a husband. He's been my reflection for 12 years. I have kids who are able to help me. But really, I'm the face, I'm marketing, I'm support, I'm shipping, I'm receiving, I'm all these different hats. And finally, in 2024, January, I finally got on payroll. So I finally have a full-time employee. I finally have 2 part-time employees, and so it took me 4 years to get there because I knew it was important, but I had to be very strategic about that move. And so now that I know what support feels like, I can't turn back. I know I need help. I just talked to my virtual assistant today, and I have more responsibilities for him coming January, just because I'm like, let me get some of this stuff off my plate. Yes, it's a sacrifice to pay other people. Yes, for me, it's the responsibility of making sure I have enough money to fund payroll every single month, knowing I've got marketing expenses, product expenses, and all these other moving parts. But having help, having resources is so important. And one of the biggest things for me, I tapped into my local free resources that are available in my state, my county, my city. The first thing, I wasn't required in my city to have a business license. That saved me like $300 a year. Yes, I tapped into I have Rocket Lawyer. So I think I pay $39 a month or whatever it is for that service. So I have lawyers on my back. If I need anything in terms of that, I'm able to get that for free because it's built into the service that I have with them. And I started that off with just getting a life insurance policy and making sure that was taken care of. So I was able to tackle on my business on the back end. I was tapped tapped into my local SBDC to help me with small business resources. And I was able to get a business coach for free. I get 10 coaching sessions per year. So I map out those coaching sessions when I really need somebody to give me expert advice. And they have actual resources to help me with marketing people and people to help me with the data that I wasn't sure about my industry. And I'd have to pay for those resources. I was able to tap into the local Orange County Women's Business Association. It's new as of a year ago, and they're able to give me support services. I tapped into SBA and talked to them about lenders if I wanted to get lending support services. I've been to my the 100 Black Women of Orange County, and there's other fraternities and sororities and cultural-based organizations that you can go to that also have connections. So none of those things that I mentioned really cost me anything. And it's a matter of wanting to learn. And then when you learn, implementing that information into your business. Because the worst thing you can do to another entrepreneur, another business person, is waste their time. Because our time is literally our money. Again, I don't eat unless I kill. And so if I'm spending my time with you, know that I find value in you. And if you're spending your time with me, my integrity suggests that whatever time I take of you, whatever resources you offer to me in grace, I'm going to implement them so that I can make myself better and be a success story for them. So it's about the reciprocity. And oh, did I even mention networking events? There are so many free networking events in everybody's city. If you're near a major city, get a networking event, get plugged in on Facebook. So the skinny of the fat, and I know I just gave you a soliloquy of information, but get tapped into your local resources so that you are not an island unto yourself. You are not alone unless you just want to be, but you cannot be successful in business unless you have help. I had to learn that the hard way, but I'm so glad I learned it because now it's ingrained in my brain that help is literally the most beautiful gift you can have as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, right guidance at the right time is so crucial.
Yes.
Right, right. And is your Tahera consultancy only for women?
It is not only for women, but I cater to women. So just a little bit of background about me. I started off as a nonprofit. So I've had a nonprofit for over 10 years, and I work with women in homeless shelters, halfway houses, and rehab centers. I've authored 4 books, and I go into these spaces and I support women specifically in their rise from the ashes, because I know what it's like to start with nothing, to have fallen from grace and attempt to crawl out of the mud and the gunk of mistake. And I know what it's like to have, be a single mom and have children and have to do something more than what you think you can. But if you get tapped into the right spaces, the right resources, you can do anything you put your mind to. And so this is my give back. And I continue to do this to this day. I go once a month into Precious Life shelter in Los Alamitos. And I go to New Directions for Women. And I talk to these women who are in rehab, who are transitioning from being homeless and either pregnant or just having a baby and coming off of drugs and alcohol, and just to bring them life and light. And so that's my motivation. So with Tahera Consultancy, if you're a man, I'll help you. But my passion is for women and women who don't see themselves in certain spaces. Because I know that when they see me and I don't look like most women that they expect to be in these spaces, I don't act like most women, I don't dress like most women in these spaces, I bring something unique to the table that they can relate to. And I have such a layer of empathy to me that is otherworldly. I really can feel the space that other people are coming from because of the spaces I've been in. And so my consulting company really works and focuses on growing and increasing business worth, as well as establishing your business, but more importantly, personal development. I feel like life coaching and personal development really go hand in hand. Mindset training go hand in hand when you're working with starting and growing a business. And so that's been my focus, is inspiring and motivating, but also doing the tangible work. Some people just don't know what to do. So there are free resources out there, but if you're like, yeah, there are free resources, but I don't want to do it, I just want somebody else to handle it, and I just want to be creative, then I also manage that aspect of business as well. So I've got my hands in many pots, but I'm an amazing multitasker and I have help. So it's been a wonderful journey for me.
Godspeed. Wonderful, wonderful. So oftentimes we get to hear of people with, they come from a very humble background, the money wise, or they had a very disturbing family background or something like that.
Yeah.
usually, and they rise up to becoming very, very successful people. So,
Mhm.
do you think people with regular and normal upbringing or background could also achieve and rise up to great heights? Or is it like no, the beginning? What makes them tough and allow them to grow?
You know, in that aspect, I feel like anything's possible because we can count out people who come from a certain space or who are a certain age or come from a certain background, and decide that they can't because they never had resources, they don't have education, they don't have XYZ. I have a person I'm very close to that was illiterate that has published and produced 5 books and sells them and has made great money as an author. And this person couldn't read at one point in their adult life. So anything's possible that you put your mind to. But I really do believe that desperation is the invention of real true creation. When you have to, it's amazing what you can do when you have to. But there are many people who just have the desire to do something with themselves. It's innate. It comes from within you. I feel like God has a way of planting seeds in every soul. And it is up to you to water that seed and give it the light and give it the proper, ground and soil in order for it to grow. And there are people who are destitute and cannot see their way through. And there are people like me who I was counted out more times than I can count on all my fingers and toes by more people with more money, resource, power, status than I could ever have imagined to even touch, let alone see or be a part of. But these same people are praising me now. And I find it fascinating because that was not my goal, but that was the outcome, right? And so I'm a very spiritual person. And, I have a Christian background, and I believe in what the Bible tells me, which is that God will make your enemies your stepping stone. So anything coming at you, it's not necessarily a person, but anything coming at you that causes you adversity, that causes you to think outside of the boxes that many people will put you in your lifetime. A lot of people who are entrepreneurs, they were bullied or they're counted out. And so they create these worlds for themselves that they then can monetize. But you don't have to, like I tell people, like, especially this generation, I have 19-year-old twins and I have a 22-year-old son. I'm like, y'all whole generation needs to get off the struggle bus and get off of the diagnoses train. Okay. Get off these means to what you think is an end of, oh, well, the doctor said I'm ADD, so I can't. That's just, and I've used my ADD to make money because I've chosen to use it as a tool rather than a stumbling block that prevents me from moving forward. So I feel like, there are many opportunities for people. It is you. It is your mindset. It's how you see things. It's how you think about things. It's how you digest whatever comes at you, good or bad. You can have all the praise. You're beautiful. You're smart. You're intelligent. All the praise and wonderfulness in the world to be money driven and gain it all, have it all, start a great business, and you're a crap person. But you're successful, so you can be an entrepreneur. But the goal of this, yes, is to make money. But the goal of this is to change the world, is to heal someone, is to help someone, serve someone, do something that's bigger and greater than you, so that your business doesn't just exist for the purpose of paying your mortgage and making you money, but leaves a legacy behind that you can sell one day. I mean, every business person should go into business knowing that one day you should be selling your business so that it lives beyond you. And if you're so focused on money, let's look at Wells Fargo, one of the biggest companies in the world. I'm still getting $1,000, $3,000, $4,000 checks from them monthly. It's crazy because of the class action lawsuits of their bad business practices. So let's consider being an entrepreneur. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, your gift to the world, your ability to give the world what seed, what plant, what beautiful flower that God put inside of you that you want to share with other people, that you found a way to monetize so that you could eat, so that you can live well, and that other people can also enjoy. So that one shift of mindset turns you from a money-making machine solamente to a person living a life of substance and purpose and intention. And you know what I mean? There's something grander out there than just the money. The money will come. It just will.
Beautifully put, beautifully said.